Everyone always said I was too careful. My friends used to tease me, calling me grandma because of my strict dating rules. Never meet in isolated places, don't drink too much, always tell friends your location and time. But no matter how careful I was, I never imagined that danger wouldn't come from dark alleys or creepy strangers, but from a perfect date. My name is Sarah, I'm 25, and I'd been single for a while. Life in the big city was hectic, making it hard to find the right person. After much prodding from friends, I decided to try a dating app, and that's when I met Michael. Michael was a gold star profile. He was 28, a software engineer, tall, charming, with wavy dark hair and a warm smile. Right from the first few messages, Michael showed incredible thoughtfulness and attention to detail. He remembered small things I'd mentioned about my hobbies, my job, even the name of my pet dog. We had been chatting online for over 2 weeks, and with each passing day, I found myself more and more drawn to his intelligence, humor, and seemingly perfect demeanor. Our first date was set for a Saturday evening at the Old Spaghetti Factory, a popular upscale Italian restaurant downtown. I'd picked out my best dress, done my makeup carefully, and felt a mix of nerves and excitement. Before I left, I texted my best friend Emily. Going on a date with Michael at the Old Spaghetti Factory, 7 p.m. I'll let you know how it goes. When I arrived at the restaurant, Michael was already waiting at the table. He looked even better than his pictures, and his smile was truly captivating. We greeted each other, and the evening started smoothly. Michael was a wonderful conversationalist. He knew how to make me feel comfortable and confident. We talked about everything, from work and dreams to childhood memories. During the main course, our conversation shifted to the topic of homes. I mentioned that I lived in a cozy but small apartment in a quiet neighborhood not far from downtown. Michael listened intently. "Is your apartment building secure?" he suddenly asked, his gaze a little too intense. "I mean, is the area safe? Do you have an alarm system?" I was a bit surprised by the direct question, but thought he was just being concerned. "Oh, it's pretty safe, actually. My complex is quiet, and I have a security camera at the front door." I gave a light laugh. Michael nodded. "Good. You can't be too careful these days. And does your bedroom window face the street? Or a common courtyard?" This question made me a little uneasy. It felt a bit too specific, but I quickly dismissed the thought, believing he was just a thoughtful man, concerned for a woman's safety. "It faces the courtyard, actually. Pretty quiet." The date continued with other light-hearted conversations, but every now and then I noticed Michael glancing at his phone in a strange way. He always kept it face down, but sometimes the screen would emit a faint glow for a split second. I figured he was just checking work messages. After dinner, Michael offered to drive me home. "Let me take you home, Sarah. It's late and I don't want you taking a cab alone." I appreciated the offer. "Thanks, Michael, that's really sweet of you." On the way home, we continued talking. Despite trying to dismiss the earlier strange questions, a small sense of unease still lingered in my mind. I looked out the window, trying to memorize the route Michael was taking. He drove very carefully, nothing seemed suspicious. As we approached my apartment complex, Michael suddenly said, "Oh, Sarah, I just remembered I have a friend who lives right near here. Could I quickly stop by his place? I just need to pick up some documents." I was a little confused. "Right now? It's pretty late, isn't it?" He gave a reassuring smile. "Just 5 minutes. He's busy with work, so this is the only time he's free. Do you mind waiting for me in the car for a bit?" I hesitated. This area was quite dark, and not many people were around at this hour. But I didn't want to seem suspicious or impolite. Okay, I guess so." Michael turned into a small, dark alleyway, about 2 blocks from my apartment complex. He parked in a secluded spot where no streetlights reached. The car engine turned off, plunging us into darkness and silence. "I'll be right back," he said, his smile still present. But this time I saw something about it that felt forced, unnatural. He got out of the car and the door closed with a dry click. I sat in the car, surrounded by darkness and an eerie silence. Only the chirping of crickets and the rustling of wind through the trees could be heard. I started to feel genuinely anxious. My phone had only 1% battery left. I hastily opened Emily's chat, intending to send a quick message, but just as I typed, "I'm at," my phone died. "Damn it," I muttered. I checked the car clock, 10:45 p.m. Michael had been gone for almost 5 minutes. I tried to calm myself. Maybe he really did have an errand. Surely he'd be back soon. But with each passing second, my uneasiness grew. I looked out the window, trying to peer through the darkness to see him. Nothing. Just thick darkness and blurry trees. I suddenly realized that from this position I could clearly see my apartment complex, even the balcony of my unit if I squinted hard enough. A chilling thought suddenly flashed through my mind. He's waiting for someone. Or worse, he's waiting for something. 10 minutes passed, then 15. Michael still hadn't returned. My anxiety turned into genuine fear. I tried to open the car door, but it was locked. I remembered Michael had locked it right after he got out. I stared at my apartment complex from afar. Everything was dark except for the faint glow from a few windows. Suddenly, a small light flickered from my apartment's balcony. It was very quick, just a tiny flash, as if someone had just turned on a phone flashlight and then immediately turned it off. My blood ran cold. That was my apartment balcony, I was sure of it. I tried to think logically. Could it be a neighbor? But why my balcony, and why at this hour, and that light? It didn't look like a normal light. It looked like a signal. I looked back towards the alley where Michael had gone. Still nothing. I felt trapped, stuck in this car in the darkness with a growing sense of dread. I recalled Michael's strange questions about security, about my bedroom window. I remembered how he kept glancing at his phone. All the fragmented pieces began to fit together, forming a terrifying picture. He wasn't picking up documents. He was waiting for a signal. He had been collecting information about my home throughout the date. And now, while I was here trapped in his car, something was happening at my apartment. A feeling of helplessness washed over me. I had no phone. I couldn't get out of the car. I couldn't do anything to stop what was happening. I started hitting the car window, gently at first, then harder. "Open the door! Open the door!" I whispered, then yelled. No sound from outside. The car was soundproof. I looked back towards my apartment balcony. This time, no light flickered. Everything was dark again. But I knew. I knew something was wrong. I started to cry, tears streaming down my cheeks. Despair consumed me. I had been deceived so brazenly, so subtly. And I had walked right into this trap. Suddenly I heard footsteps. Light, slow footsteps approaching the car. My heart pounded. Michael. He was back. The car door opened. Michael stood there, smiling. His smile now looked utterly repulsive, a cold, smug satisfaction. "All done?" I asked, my voice hoarse with fear and tears. He nodded, his gaze sweeping over my face. "All done. Everything's in order." He started the car, turning it around. "I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Sarah. My friend is quite the talker." I didn't say a word. I just stared straight at him, my eyes red. I couldn't believe I had trusted someone like that. He started driving towards my apartment complex. When we arrived, everything looked normal. The faint yellow light from the hallway illuminated the entrance. I hastily opened the car door and ran out, not bothering to say goodbye. "Thanks for the date, Sarah," he called after me, his voice sounding perfectly normal, as if nothing had happened. I ran straight to my apartment, my hands trembling as I fumbled the key into the lock. The door opened. Inside, everything was dark. I quickly flicked on the lights. The apartment was just as I'd left it. No signs of forced entry. Nothing missing. Everything was in its right place. I breathed a sigh of relief, almost collapsing. Had I imagined it all? Or was Michael genuinely concerned? I walked into the living room, then the bedroom. I looked around, trying to find some sort of sign. Nothing. But then, as I stepped into the kitchen, I saw something on the dining table. A small note, pinned to a vase of flowers I'd never seen before. The vase was empty. I picked up the note. The handwriting was sharp, almost perfect. "Hello, Sarah. Thanks for a wonderful date. I learned many interesting things about you and your apartment. Don't worry, I'll keep your secrets. Just next time, be a little more careful. This little gift is a reminder. See you again." Below the message was a small drawing, a key. My hands trembled violently. I stared at the note, then looked out the kitchen window. From here I could see my apartment balcony, and I remembered the flickering light. He didn't break in to steal. He broke in to leave a message. He broke in to let me know he could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. He broke in to let me know he now had a copy of my key. I was too terrified to stay in that apartment. I quickly packed a few essentials and ran to Emily's place. She was shocked to see me in such a state of panic. The next morning I called the police. They investigated but found no fingerprints other than mine. The vase and the note also had no special traces. They said Michael might just be a creepy guy with strange hobbies. But I knew he was more than just weird. I moved out immediately, changed the locks, installed a new security system. I never used that dating app again. But even though I moved somewhere else, the haunting remains. Every time the doorbell rings, every time I get a strange message, I shiver. I always wonder, is Michael out there watching me? Does he still have that key? And is his "see you again" a promise or a threat?